it's great to see everybody. Thanks for coming. Excited about another opportunity here at Reynolds Center this Thursday to get against a very good Jackson State team. They're a team that has been all over the country and will make their trip here to Tulsa. Of course, we're happy to have gotten off to a good start here at home, and have learned a lot about our team. And that's really the common theme of our group, is to just keep discovering things that we're doing well, things that we need to do better, lineups that work well together. So many new things are hitting our team, and having these early season games at home have been really important for us. And we're just continually looking to improve and look to take another step forward in practice today, tomorrow, and then a chance to compete against somebody else again on Thursday.
Obviously, Coach, the results have been good so far. As the head coach, is this what you expected? Has it been better or worse, or how would you rate the team so far?
I think some things that you just don't know, because so many things are being experienced for the very first time in Division I college basketball for so many guys on our team. So in some ways I've been pleased with the poise down the stretch. Our second half production and efficiency has been better. We've had close games, really. I mean, the score have been double-figure wins, but they've been close games in the second half where guys have just continually worked together and tried to figure out a formula for success on both ends of the floor. So to do that with a number of young guys in the situations that they've been in has been good. Of course, there's so many things that we're trying to get better at. Told our team that yesterday and after the game on Saturday, we're still trying to piece together the full game, and that means taking care of the basketball like we did the other night, but then rebound it better than what we have. And so that's what we're searching for.
And you mentioned this a little bit, but we'll dive into it a little more, just being able to play these home games and have early success for this team that has so many new players. How important is it to be able to have these home games to do that early on?
It was completely by design, and so many times in scheduling you go in with a plan of what you'd like, but somebody else has to agree to play and play on those dates and play at that time of the season. So it was very much our hope to try to play some earlier games at home. I think these teams that we've played will win a lot of games in their league and have challenged us in different ways. They've been different styles of play. So we've talked about just building our database of experience, of things, actions to guard, things that we're seeing offensively. So a year ago we played 5 non-conference home games. This year we're scheduled to play 9. I think that's really important.
And especially coming off a year last year where you didn't win as many as you wanted, how important is it to be able to not only have these games at home, but to have a record where you're building up these wins?
Well, it's so much better, I guess you could say, or to learn after a win. And you learn after losses, you learn after wins. We of course want to win. I've said it many times, there's no such thing as an ugly win. You get a chance to learn after every opportunity you play. And we're trying to build consistency. We're certainly trying to build confidence in this young group. And to be able to see some things work is a great way to build confidence. But then there's also adversity in there. Being able to struggle is a way to grow as well. And we've struggled in these games at certain moments of the game. So that's important too.
So I'm a defensive girly. I like when teams can turn over teams at least 20 or more times, and that's exactly what you did against UIW. We're not going to talk about offense. We're going to talk about defense here. Just talk about how well this team is, the sense of urgency to get the ball back.
We emphasize defense first in all of our conversations, and when we present game plans. We have a philosophy, then we have 10 commitments, and it really runs through 10 parts of a possession, both defensively and offensively. And we also talk often about how good defense can turn into really good offense. We feel like our team is one that you can turn people over, but the best teams aren't just going to give it to you. So you've got to have another way. And the number one factor in winning is effective field goal percentage defense. And so we talk about it all the time. We talk about contest rate and how to make people miss. And then, of course, you got to rebound the basketball and finish the play. And we feel like the size that we have collectively on this team, that we're trying to identify different matchups and different pieces of versatility to make people miss and rebound. And we haven't rebounded at the rate that I think we're capable of, and that's what we're working on.
And offensively, with just, Kobe's a great player, in my opinion. Just talking about him and the way that he leads this team and has led this team the past 2 games.
So Kobe's somebody who, he's a point guard, he's a scoring guard, he's an on-ball defender. Like, he's a lot of different things. But he's absolutely a guy with, as we call, he's got burst and he's got wiggle. Like, he can get to the paint, he can create action, he's very aggressive, and he can score. He can also contribute for others. He had 6 assists and 1 turnover the other night, which is exceptional. And then he has 27 points. And that's exactly what we recruited him to do and expected him is to be a guy that can get a shot when we need one, late clock, but yet be very aggressive and create action for us. So really been pleased with his give and take of playmaking, scoring, and playing with other guys, and that's the type of leadership that we were looking for when bringing him in.
Jackson State this week at home, just talk about, they can make you turn the ball over as well in their defensive schemes. What are you guys preparing for?
Jackson State is a very talented team, and they've got great versatility. And so we first start with just matchups and how we're going to guard them because they've got a guy like Evans who's scoring it, shooting it, inside, outside, isolations at the elbows, just exactly who guards him and how do you guard him as a team, as a unit. And then they've got a number of other guys that can drive it, pass it, shoot it. They change defenses. So they pose so many different problems, and they've got a lot of experience. So they're playing 13 straight games on the road. They're having an incredible schedule. They play tonight at Loyola Marymount. So we'll gain more information from that, but we want to figure out first how we guard them. And then, like you said, we've got to take care of the basketball very well because they switch defenses. They're very, very tenacious on the ball, and we've got to take care of it.
I guess technically like a month has gone by where these guys have kind of really got to find that camaraderie. What has that been like with all these guys coming in and getting to kind of get to know each other?
Yeah, and that's been ongoing since June. We first got together second week of June and have done so many different things as a team in just connecting as people, and I'll do a hometown quiz and what do you know about this guy, and we'll just continue to talk, and that's not just the players but it's the staff as well, and us all getting to know each other. It's really one of my favorite things is to be a part of that locker room with them like that. And of course the time that they spend together is remarkable. They live together, they're all in fairly the same proximity on campus, and then they spend a lot of time in here. So we thought that we recruited just some really good people to share that locker room together, and that's proved to be true.
Are you guys going to bus or fly to Little Rock?
We will bus.
Yeah. It's almost more of a hassle to pack it all up and fly to Little Rock. So your first airplane trip will be East Carolina?
Yes.
Wow. Is that as deep as you can ever remember going into a schedule?
100% for sure.
I would think. But so obviously you're scheduling for success early. You want momentum. You want a good vibe, all of that. But like 3 years from now, what would the ideal Coach Konkol schedule look like with regard to the composition of the non-conference schedule? Like a marquee, at least one marquee here in the building, and then you go play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What would the difference be 3 years from now?
Well, I know years ago you could schedule 3 years ahead of time, and scheduling was so different than it is now. But we're just trying to build this program in a way that is first focused on the players and their development, but scheduling is second really to recruiting when you take what it is that we need to focus on off the floor. And so, the way we want to build this is, like, we're playing a neutral site game against Oklahoma State this year, but they're coming back to us the following year. Love playing in-state teams, love playing teams from the region, love that we're playing Missouri State. That's an old Missouri Valley type game. But we just want to keep building it, and there's so many different changes in scheduling too. We're not playing a a tournament per se in some location, but it's certainly something that we look at. But I think every year the schedule is one where you want balance of great games at home, great games on the road, maybe a neutral site game, but I prefer campus environments more than anything. So we just kind of keep looking at it as we go
Next year OSU, is it in your building or downtown?
in our building.
Okay, where? Okay.
Coach, having watched practices last season and watched this season, how would you describe the difference in how the practices are?
Yeah, I just think that, this group is every year, every team is different. Whether you have 10 guys back or whatever the number is, every year is different. And so because players age, players mature, players are new, I just know that this group right now has got a youthful exuberance about them. They have way more questions than they have answers. They have a number of just deer in headlights type looks of like, whoa, what is this? And that's fun. And it's also very challenging. And it's also a little bit where you're like, I have no idea what we're going to see coming up. But in that comes great excitement. We as a staff love working with this group. We feel like they care about each other very much, and they're just trying to figure it out. And we're trying to figure out right there with them every single day with best combinations, how to help guys get better, and that's the real challenge. This is a long season. We've got a long ways to go, but I know we're really excited about trying to get just a little bit better today.
Coach, if you could pick out the biggest surprise, maybe a player or just anything in general, what would be the biggest surprise so far this year?
Biggest surprise. We came into the season, Larry, with a number of unknowns. You have a picture of what things could look like, and you have a style that you may want to play in a. But I think that the versatility has been something that we hope for, but it's still been a little bit surprising. Just the number of things that we might be able to do. And so that's going to take some time, but you can see it blossoming. And so I think you never want to put a cap or a limit on anything or anyone. I'm certainly not putting a cap on this place. I've got high expectations of how we continue to build and grow. But I just think as a unit, been pleased. Keyston Willis is someone that we're excited about. He's got a lot of experience behind him. We were already a fairly young team with him, and we've been in without him for quite some time. So I've been pleased. Won't say surprised because you're always hopeful, but just how young we've been, and we've been able to get better as games go on and not be shell-shocked and just keep pushing. And again, that could happen coming up, but it's been a good sign for this group as we're getting older, and we're trying to get older every day.
You have, I guess, kind of a built-in family advantage in that you have young sons who play, right? So, and you've been here long enough to have gotten a good feel for not only the current high school guys, but kind of the next generation coming up. So if you look ahead, the next several years, how do you feel about the potential to pull some guys who can help you out of Tulsa County?
So I've definitely seen more 6th and 8th grade basketball than ever before. I know that. It's not. We like to be proactive in recruiting, Bill, and look at earlier classes, but not been in the 6th grade ranks as much as I have. I was at a game last night watching 6th and 7th graders. But yeah, my son's in 9th grade, and watched a lot of 8th grade basketball last year, and there's a future here in Tulsa, and I am very excited about that. We absolutely want the best and the brightest here to stay home, and people that have been recruited by us and maybe have elected to go someplace else, that's okay. But this is always a home for people that either want to come back or that want to stay home. Each individual recruiting decision is one onto their own. I take a very clear stance on recruiting is all about a two-way street in a relationship that's mutually beneficial. And I absolutely believe that this is an awesome place educationally, athletically. People from the American Conference teams can go to the Final Four and win a national championship, as can players go to the NBA from this conference. So we're always going to start inside out and identify and recruit the best fits locally and then branch out from there. But yeah, I think there's absolutely a great future and potential here in young players in this area.
The last 3 or 4 years, I've seen more ninth graders as difference makers at the varsity level than the whole time I've ever been here. Problem is, they're 5'10", right? So you hope some of those. Of course, there is one in north part of the county, taller. Well, there is, but there, yeah, right. I guess you just hope some of those kids get some size, because there are a lot of really good 8th and 9th graders.
Oh, there's no doubt, and that's all part of the identification process. I mean, I'm 6'1", and I was 6'1" as a freshman in high school, and started on my varsity team, and had visions of being Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and getting up to 6'8" or 9. I had cousins 6'5", and just stopped. So we identify. We want to know names. Our camp numbers were so much higher than the year before. The way for us to build is through the young people in this community and the young families in this community, to invite them to come to our games, invite them to come to camp. Our practices are open. We've had a number of youth teams come to watch practice. We absolutely want to be Tulsa's team.
Like, how do you quantify the camp growth? Like 50%, 20%? I mean,
Yeah, close to
When you're-
50%. Yeah,
Really?
50%.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, last question for me. Your son, being a basketball-minded kid, and within whatever you're allowed to do with regard to information, but is he a pretty good informant for you? I'm serious about gauging another kid's game, or saying, hey, by the way, I was at a tournament and there's a kid from Wichita who can really play or something. Is he a good little informant for you?
Oh, he's all Tulsa all the time. I mean, he's, he wants to tell me how to guard the other team too. So, I mean, our boys are hoop junkies. They love sports. There's such a balance, and I'm trying to figure it out as I go as a dad too, of being a dad, but also a coach. And there's a great joy in watching your kids do something they like doing, and that's whether it's basketball for them or piano or whatever they might choose to do. My whole hope has been that they're passionate about something. But he's on the staff for sure when it comes to telling me who's out there.